Hello, my name is Alan Noblitt. I'm the owner of Seascape Capital. Today we're going to talk about partials and what it is and when you might be able to use it. When most of my clients call me, they've really only thought about selling the full note, but they don't really consider that there's other ways to do it because they're not aware of it. A partial just means that we're buying a certain number of payments. So let's take an example. Let's say that you have a 30-year note for $100,000, but you really only need $25,000 right now to put a kid through college, to pay off debts, whatever it might be. Well, a partial is going to be a better solution because we would give you the $25,000 in exchange. We're buying, for instance, the next 5 or 6 years worth of payments. At the end of that 5 or 6 years, we assign the note back to you and you can go back to receiving the payments and you still have that cash in hand. So there's a lot of advantages to having a partial, and in many cases, I would even say most cases, it's preferable to selling the full note. So again, a partial is just selling a limited number of payments instead of the whole note. The process is very similar, it's almost identical actually to selling the full note, but there's certain advantages to the partial. Because many notes have a little bit of hair on them, if you will, they aren't quite perfect, we sometimes cannot give a very good price on buying the full note. That applies to anybody in this industry. And if we're just buying part of the note, it creates less risk for us, so we're able to give a better price to you. The second thing is you have flexibility to sell more of the payments later. So in the example we mentioned a moment ago, a year or two after you sold us part of the note, you might decide that you need some more money for whatever reason. As long as the payer has been making their payments on time, in almost all cases we'd be willing to do that. And third, you may have some tax advantages. If you sold the full note and you had capital gains, you're usually going to have to declare those capital gains in that year. But if you just sold part of the note, then usually you can defer some of those capital gains into future years. Of course, you should talk with your CPA or your accountant to make sure that this applies to you, but in most cases it does. So I hope that's helpful in understanding a little bit about what a partial is and what some of the advantages are. Thank you.